Alina's quarters shook as another Axioni warship entered Earth's atmosphere. From her window in the United Nations complex, now repurposed as the Axioni's administrative headquarters, she watched the crystalline vessel descend, its hull refracting sunlight into prismatic patterns that once would have seemed beautiful. Now they only signaled more suffering. Her comm unit buzzed. "Commander Rise, your presence is required at Extraction Site 37. The voice belonged to Overseer Ketlax, her Axioni superior, not boss. Never boss. That would imply she had chosen this role. "Acknowledge," she replied, keeping her voice neutral. Emotional responses triggered their aggression protocols. Site 37 had been downtown Detroit. Now it was a massive strip mine. The Axioni valued Earth for its rare metals and complex organic compounds. They valued humans considerably less. Alina dressed in her liaison uniform, midnight blue with the Axioni Containment Authority insignia prominently displayed. Her real uniform, her Earth Defense Force colors, remained hidden in a compartment beneath her floorboards, along with her service pistol. Small comforts. The shuttle ride was silent. Her Axioni escort never spoke beyond issuing commands. Alina studied its crystalline exoskeleton, noting the slight discoloration near its communication node. A potential weakness Dr. Chen would want to know about. At Site 37, the devastation was worse than last week. Hundreds of human workers toiled in the pit, extracting minerals under the watchful gaze of hovering Axioni sentries. Their weapon systems emitted a constant low hum, a reminder that rebellion meant death. Efficiency has decreased 7.4% since last cycle, Ketlax announced, materializing beside her. The Axioni had no concept of personal space. Explain. Alina had anticipated this. 3 workers collapsed from dehydration yesterday. Humans require water to maintain optimal function. Wasteful design. Ketlax's crystalline body vibrated in what Alina had learned was discussed. Implement hydration protocols. Decrease break intervals to compensate for lost productivity. The workers are already at their physical limits, Alina said carefully. Further reduction in rest periods will result in more collapses and decreased efficiency. Ketlax shifted color, blue phosphorescence indicating irritation. You defend their weakness. Troubling. I provide objective analysis to maximize resource extraction, Alina countered. Dead workers extract nothing. The Axioni considered this with cold calculation. Your logic is acceptable. Implement minimal hydration measures. Alina nodded, hiding her small victory. Every concession preserved human lives, lives they would need for the coming resistance. Later, in the privacy of her quarters, Alina activated her quantum-shielded tablet. Dr. Chen's face appeared on the screen, haggard but determined. "Tell me you have something," she whispered. "Better than something," Chen replied, his eyes gleaming. "We've successfully replicated their neural disruptor. Small scale, but it works." Alina allowed herself a moment of hope. How soon until deployment? 6 months, maybe less. We need to test it against their patrols. Too risky, Alina said. We get one shot at this. It has to work perfectly. Chen nodded. Then we need more intel on their neural frequencies. I'll get it, Alina promised. Whatever it takes. Their resistance was small, fragmented across the globe, but growing stronger each day. The Axioni believed humans domesticated, their spirits broken. They would learn how catastrophically wrong they were. The abandoned Manhattan subway tunnel dripped with condensation, but it wasn't water that concerned Dr. Marcus Chen. It was the Axioni surveillance drones that occasionally swept the surface streets above. His makeshift laboratory, housed in what was once a maintenance bay, hummed with stolen alien technology and human ingenuity. Try it again, he instructed Rajiv, a former quantum physicist now resistance fighter. Modulate the frequency to 347 terahertz. Rajiv adjusted the crystalline device, an Axioni communication node they'd salvaged from a damaged patrol ship. The crystal emitted a pale blue glow, then flickered erratically before stabilizing. "That's it," Chen whispered, excitement breaking through his exhaustion. "It's accepting human neural patterns." 3 years of subjugation had taught them the Accioni's greatest weakness: arrogance. The crystalline beings believed their technology incompatible with primitive human biology. They never considered that humans might adapt where they couldn't. "Dr. Chen," a voice called from the tunnel entrance. "Commander Reyes has arrived." Elena entered, removing her liaison uniform jacket with disgust. 2 more extraction sites established in Europe. They're accelerating their harvest. Chen nodded grimly. "Then we accelerate too." He led her to the modified communication node. "Watch this." He placed his hand on the crystal. It pulsed, synchronized to his heartbeat, before projecting a holographic display of Accioni fleet positions. Elena's eyes widened. "You cracked their network." "Not exactly," Chen explained. "We can receive but not transmit yet. Still, it confirms what your intelligence suggested. They're thinning their orbital defenses to support mining operations." Elena studied the display. "There's a vulnerability forming over the Pacific Quadrant. If we could exploit it." "We can do more than that." Chen gestured to a reinforced door at the back of the lab. "It's time you saw Project Thunderclap." The chamber beyond held what appeared to be a silver sphere the size of a basketball, suspended in a containment field. Unlike the angular Accioni technology, its surface was perfectly smooth. "Is that human-made?" Elena asked, astonished. Chen nodded with pride. "Entirely. Based on principles we learned from studying their neural network, but designed for human use. It generates a targeted pulse that disrupts their hive mind communication. In tests, it rendered individual Accioni temporarily inert, unable to process information or coordinate. A weapon that doesn't destroy, but isolates," Elena murmured. "Perfect for asymmetric warfare." "We have 3 prototypes," Chen said. "Small range now, but we're scaling up. The facility under Lake Superior is manufacturing components disguised as Accioni extraction equipment." Elena's comm unit buzzed, her Accioni handler demanding her return. She checked the secure watch on her wrist. "Central inspection in 5 hours. I need to be there, or they'll suspect something." As she turned to leave, Chen caught her arm. "There's something else you should know. The quantum resonance patterns we're detecting. Elena, I don't think the Accioni invaded Earth just for resources. They're afraid of something about us, something in our cognitive structure." "Afraid?" Elena's brow furrowed. "These monsters wiped out half of Sydney when we resisted. Even apex predators attack when frightened," Chen replied. "And nothing is more dangerous than a frightened entity with power." Elena considered this, a new understanding dawning. If they fear us, then they've been right to do so. We just need to show them why. Captain Soraya Kwan hadn't slept in 36 hours. The Luna base mining quarters, little more than pressurized containers stacked in the shadow of Mare Crisium, offered no comfort as she reviewed the operation plans one final time. All teams in position. Her second in command, David Alvarez, confirmed via their shielded comm channel. "Thunderclap is prepped and ready." Soraya nodded, her face illuminated by the holographic display showing thermal signatures of Accioni patrols. 3 weeks ago, she had watched her brother's family executed for missing their extraction quota. The Accioni overseer, Mech Thorn, had ordered them to stand in a line before methodically disintegrating each one, saving her 10-year-old niece for last. "Remember," Soraya instructed her team, "synchronize your chronometers. The disruptor field has a 90-second effective window before their emergency protocols activate." Across Luna Base, 23 resistance fighters prepared. Former miners, scientists, and security personnel, now united in purpose. The Thunderclap device, smaller than Chen had hoped but still effective, was concealed in a stolen maintenance cart, its innocuous appearance perfect for navigating the base's corridors. "Command Center designates target in optimal position," David reported. "Mech Thorn is conducting inspection in the primary processing facility, surrounded by his security detail. Soraya allowed herself one brief moment of personal vindication before refocusing. Initiate Operation Sundering. David's team moved the cart into position outside the facility's atmospheric lock. Two resistance members disguised as maintenance workers approached the Axioni guards. Scheduled crystal harmonization, one said, displaying forged work orders on a terminal. Overseer McThorne requested priority service. The guards, used to unquestioning human compliance, performed only cursory verification before allowing them entry. Inside, McThorne's crystalline form dominated the chamber, fractured light patterns displaying irritation as he berated human workers. Deployment zone reached, David whispered through the comm. Soraya took a deep breath. Activate Thunderclap. The silver sphere within the cart pulsed once, emitting no visible light or sound perceptible to humans. The effect on the Axioni was instantaneous and catastrophic. McThorne froze mid-sentence, his crystalline body clouding with confusion. The guards' communication nodes flickered chaotically as their hive mind connections shattered. All targets neutralized, David confirmed. 90 seconds remaining. The human workers, briefed moments earlier, moved with practiced precision. Some sealed the chamber while others retrieved hidden weapons from beneath workstations. The Axioni, isolated from their collective consciousness, could not coordinate defense. Individual guards fell quickly to concentrated fire at their communication nodes, their only vulnerable point. McThorne, regaining limited function, attempted to activate an emergency beacon. Soraya stepped forward, plasma cutter in hand. "You don't remember me," she said, her voice steady. "But I remember you." Recognition flickered across the alien's crystalline facets. Fear, an emotion the Axioni rarely experienced, manifested as jagged patterns of yellow light across his surface. The punishment was justified. McThorne's harmonic voice wavered. "Resource quotas are absolute. So is human retribution." Soraya replied, and fired. As the Overseer's shattered remains cooled on the facility floor, alarms blared. The resistance team had 73 seconds to complete Phase 2, seizing control of Luna Base's communication array. Earth needed to know. The first strike had succeeded. Humanity's counterattack had begun. The Axioni Purification Fleet emerged from hyperspace like a crystalline hurricane. 37 warships arranged in perfect geometric formation. From the bridge of the EDF Defiance, hidden within the shadow of Earth's moon, Alina watched the enemy vessels position themselves for planetary bombardment. All Ghost Drive systems nominal, her tactical officer reported. Quantum signature masked. "They have no idea we're here." Alina nodded, her eyes fixed on the holographic display. 3 years of preparation, countless sacrifices, and one successful lunar strike had led to this moment. The Axioni had responded exactly as predicted, with overwhelming force and predictable arrogance. "Admiral Paxalthur is broadcasting," communications announced. "System-wide transmission." The alien commander's image materialized above the tactical display. Talthur's crystalline form pulsed with angry red and purple hues, a sign of extreme agitation that Alina had learned to recognize during her years as a liaison. "Humans," the harmonic voice resonated through the bridge. "Your defiance on Luna Base represents unacceptable deviation from containment protocols. Witness the consequences of rebellion." The Axioni flagship charged its primary weapon, a planet cracker capable of shattering Earth's crust. Energy readings spiked off the charts as the beam prepared to fire. "Now," Alina commanded. Dr. Chen, stationed at the Quantum Operations Console, activated the global defense grid. 217 satellites, long thought derelict by the Axioni, suddenly powered up. Each projected a focused disruption field calibrated to the exact frequency of Axioni neural networks. On the display, confusion rippled through the enemy fleet. The perfect formation wavered as individual ships lost connection to the hive mind. Their weapon systems sputtered and failed. "Ghost Fleet, deploy," Alina ordered. Across Earth's orbit, 70 human warships simultaneously deactivated their quantum masking technology, appearing as if from nowhere. Built in secret underwater facilities and lunar caves, each vessel carried weapons specifically designed to target Axioni vulnerabilities. They're attempting to re-establish communication, Chen reported, analyzing the data streams. Estimated time to recovery: 3 minutes. They won't have 3 minutes, Elena replied. All ships, execute attack pattern Prometheus. The human fleet moved with deliberate chaos. No discernible pattern for the Axioni to predict or counter. Their rigid tactical algorithms failed against humanity's controlled randomness. Precision strikes targeted communication nodes and propulsion systems, disabling rather than destroying. Elena's ship accelerated toward the Axioni flagship. Boarding teams ready, the combat coordinator confirmed. Remember, Elena told her crew, we need Admiral Hall-Thur alive. This isn't just about victory, it's about sending a message. The Defiance's quantum tunneling system activated, creating a temporary passage directly to the enemy flagship's command deck. Elena led the assault team through, emerging in the heart of Axioni power. Hall-Thur stood frozen, crystalline form clouded with confusion and fear, emotions the supposedly superior beings claimed not to possess. The Admiral's guards moved to protect their leader, but their weapons failed to fire. How? Hall-Thur's harmonic voice wavered. Your species lacks the cognitive architecture to comprehend our technology. Elena approached slowly, holding a neural transmitter designed by Dr. Chen. You studied our biology, our weapons, our resources, but you never bothered to understand our minds. She activated the transmitter, linking to every Axioni communication channel across the galaxy. You believed us contained, she said, her voice broadcasting to thousands of worlds. You were wrong. News of humanity's victory spread across the Axioni Confederacy's domain like wildfire through a drought-stricken forest. On Valeria Prime, the serpentine philosophers who had endured centuries of enslavement watched Elena Reyes's broadcast on smuggled receivers, her words translated into their sibilant language. Today, we showed the Confederacy that subjugation is not protection, Elena's image declared. Their weakness is exposed. Their invincibility is a lie. The eldest Valerian sage, Sistaka, unfurled her luminescent hood, a gesture forbidden under Axioni rule. The moment has come, she announced to her gathered kindred. The crystalline oppressors bleed. Within hours, Valerian resistance cells activated across their homeworld. Their neurotoxins, refined over generations of secret research, proved devastatingly effective against Axioni overseers. By dawn, the occupying force had been neutralized, their crystalline bodies clouding with poison. Similar uprisings erupted throughout the Confederacy. The machine symbiotes of Tau Ceti disabled their containment fields through synchronized logic attacks. The photosynthetic Arboreans of Epsilon Indi reclaimed their sacred groves, their dormant defense spores suddenly reactivated. Elena's diplomatic shuttle approached the newly liberated Valerian system under heavy escort. Dr. Chen monitored the quantum communications array, analyzing the cascade of rebellion reports flooding in. 23 systems declared independent in the last 36 hours, he informed Elena. The Confederacy's trying to mobilize their reserve legions from the Centauri sector. But, Elena prompted. Chen smiled. Our infiltration teams got there first. They've sabotaged the supply chains and reprogrammed the navigational arrays. The reinforcements are jumping to empty coordinates. The shuttle docked at the newly established Valerian diplomatic station. As Sistaka awaited them, her scales shifting through colors of formal greeting. Commander Reyes, the Valerian sage, inclined her head. Your species has accomplished what was thought impossible. The Confederacy falters. Elena stepped forward. We didn't fight just for ourselves. For too long, the Axioni have presumed their right to determine which species deserve freedom. Yet many worlds still suffer under their control, as Sisteka cautioned. The Confederacy Council has activated contingency protocols. They will sacrifice outlying systems to consolidate power. That's why we're here, Alina replied. Humanity offers alliance, not domination. Dr. Chen's research teams are prepared to share our quantum disruption technology, adapted to your biology. The Valerian's inner eyelids flickered, a sign of intense emotion. You would arm those you barely know. We know enough, Alina said. You were enslaved. That makes us natural allies. As the diplomatic summit proceeded, Axioni assassins infiltrated the station, their crystalline forms disguised by absorption fields. They reached the central chamber undetected, weapons primed, only to find their technology mysteriously deactivated. Looking for these, Dr. Chen held up the disabled trigger mechanisms. Quantum entanglement works both ways. The more we study your weapons, the easier they become to neutralize remotely. The assassins were secured as Alina addressed the gathered representatives from 27 formerly subjugated species. The Axioni called us primitive because we still feel anger, still demand justice, she declared. They thought emotions made us weak. Today, those primitive emotions dismantle an empire and forge something better from its ruins. The Axioni High Council chamber on Celestial Prime pulsed with chaotic energy patterns, their crystalline architecture reflecting the unprecedented panic of its occupants. Supreme Archon Vethal towered above the others, facets glowing with dangerous intensity. The rebellion spreads unchecked, one counselor reported, harmonic tones fragmented with stress. 28% of our outer territories no longer respond to central authority. Then they will witness the cost of defiance, Vethal declared. His command crystals activated ancient authorization protocols, unlocking sealed archive vaults beneath the council chambers. Initiate the Sundering Protocol. Deep within the planet's core, weapons of incomprehensible destructive power, sealed away after nearly destroying the galaxy millennia ago, reactivated. Massive energy signatures blossomed across Axioni space as planet cracker platforms emerged from dimensional stasis. On the bridge of the EDF Vigilance, orbiting the human colony world New Terra, Alina received the quantum alert from intelligence networks. Multiple Class Omega energy signatures detected, her tactical officer reported. Face pale. Configuration unknown, but power levels suggest extinction-class weaponry. Dr. Chen's holographic projection appeared beside her, his expression grim. The Axioni have activated their doomsday archive. Historical records mention these weapons, but we thought them mythical. Target? Alina asked. Us, Chen replied. Long-range sensors show they're converging on New Terra. Estimated arrival: 17 minutes. Alina's decision was immediate. Execute Shadow Protocol. All ships, all personnel. Throughout the New Terra system, human vessels and ground installations activated specialized quantum displacement fields. Simultaneously, their advanced holographic projectors deployed the most elaborate deception ever attempted. To any observer, including the approaching Axioni fleet, New Terra continued to exist unchanged. When the planet cracker weapons arrived, they fired upon a perfect holographic duplicate of the colony world. The simulated destruction was flawlessly rendered. Continents shattering, oceans vaporizing, atmosphere burning away. Sensors across the galaxy recorded the apparent annihilation of humanity's first extrasolar colony. The Axioni Confederacy broadcast the destruction as warning. Thus ends all defiance against cosmic order. For 6 hours, their victory stood unchallenged. Then, precisely as calculated for maximum psychological impact, the New Terra Defense Fleet emerged from quantum displacement. Every ship, every colonist completely intact. Execute simultaneity, Alina commanded. Across 17 Axioni stronghold systems, coordinated strikes commenced at precisely the same moment. Human Special Forces teams, embedded weeks earlier using quantum disguise technology, disabled planetary shields. Allied Valerian assassins neutralized command structures. Tau Ceti machine symbiotes infected and rewrote defense systems. On Axion Prime itself, the Confederacy capital world untouched by enemies for 20,000 years, orbital defense platforms suddenly went dark as infiltration teams activated dormant viruses in their operating systems. The human flagship Retribution materialized above the celestial spire, seat of the Axioni government. Its quantum communication array broadcast Elena's message to the panicking council below. You believe your technology made you gods. You believe your weapons made you invincible. You were wrong on both counts. Her voice was calm, measured. Your doomsday archive is neutralized. Your fortress worlds are compromised. Your empire crumbles. Supreme Archon Vethal stared at the holographic projection of human warships surrounding his supposedly impregnable world, and for the first time in his 5-century existence, knew true fear. The command deck of the Retribution hummed with tension as military leaders from the human-led alliance debated the fate of Axion Prime. Tactical displays showed the crystalline world completely surrounded, its defenses neutralized, its leadership in disarray. We should shatter their homeworld, General Santos insisted, his scared face rigid with barely contained fury. Show them exactly what they planned for New Terra. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the gathering. The Valerian representative flared her hood in approval. The Ta City delegate's mechanical appendages clicked in calculated support. Elena studied the holographic projection of the Axioni capital, its elegant crystal spires reflecting starlight in fractured patterns. 3 years of war, millions of deaths across dozens of worlds. The scale of suffering demanded retribution. We have the targeting solutions, Admiral Quan confirmed, nodding to Soraya. Their planetary shield harmonics are mapped. We can bypass their remaining defenses with 97% efficiency. Belina turned to Dr. Chen, who stood quietly analyzing data streams from the surface. Your assessment? Chen looked up, his expression troubled. I've been studying their historical archives, the data we extracted during the infiltration. The Axioni weren't always conquerors. He activated a secondary display showing ancient crystalline structures, peaceful and harmonious. Approximately 30,000 years ago, they encountered a species called the Void Heralds. The records are fragmented, but it appears the Heralds nearly drove the Axioni to extinction through biological warfare. Are you suggesting we should pity them? Santos demanded. I'm suggesting we understand them, Chen replied. Their genetic memory contains ancestral trauma from that war. Each generation inherits the fear and xenophobia of the last. They don't conquer because they're inherently cruel. They conquer because they're fundamentally terrified of any intelligence different from their own. Elena considered this, then made her decision. Prepare the neural interface. Commander, Admiral Quan questioned. We prove we're not what they feared, Elena explained. Dr. Chen has modified the thunderclap technology. Instead of disrupting their neural network, we can use it to transmit directly into their collective consciousness. Chen nodded. The interface will allow us to share human experiences, our emotions, our memories, our capacity for compassion and forgiveness. You want to what? Educate them. Santos scoffed. I want to show them what they nearly destroyed. Elena replied. They've never truly understood us. It's time they did. Hours later, Elena stood before the Axioni Supreme Council. Vethal and the other crystalline leaders were surrounded by human guards, their once imposing forms diminished by defeat. You have won. Vethal's harmonic voice resonated with bitterness. Will you now annihilate us, as we would have done to you? No, Elena replied. We're offering something you've never given any species, the chance to understand. She activated the neural interface device, complex patterns of light and sound, calibrated precisely to Axioni perception, filled the chamber. The crystalline beings stiffened as human experiences flowed into their collective consciousness. Grief for those lost in the war, joy in small moments of beauty, compassion for the suffering, forgiveness where justified hatred might have reigned. For the first time in millennia, the chamber filled with a harmonizing tone never before heard from the Axioni. the resonance of remorse. 10 years after humanity's victory, the galactic landscape had transformed beyond recognition. The Concordat Assembly Hall on New Geneva Station orbited a neutral star at the boundary between former Axioni space and the human expansion zone. Representatives from 47 species gathered beneath its transparent dome, the vast spiral of the Milky Way providing a humbling backdrop to their deliberations. Admiral Elena Reyes, now Supreme Commander of the United Fleet, stood at the observation deck reviewing status reports. The massive structure of the former Axioni Doomsday platform, Stellar Cleaver, drifted in the distance, its planet-killing weapons reconfigured into the most advanced astrophysics research station in known space. The Tav Ceti delegation has submitted their proposal for the Frontier Protection Initiative, her aide informed her. They've incorporated the modifications suggested by both human and Axioni engineers. Elena nodded, still finding it remarkable that Axioni and cooperation could exist in the same sentence. And the situation in the Sagittarius Arm. The refugee relocation is proceeding ahead of schedule. The terraforming teams have established viable biospheres on 3 previously uninhabitable worlds. Dr. Chen approached, his hair now gray but his eyes still bright with the same intellectual curiosity. As director of the Multi-Species Innovation Directive, he had helped forge technologies that would have seemed miraculous a decade earlier. The Axioni crystal synthesis technique has been successfully integrated with Valerian biotechnology, he reported. We've created living architecture that can heal itself and respond to environmental changes. The first self-sustaining habitats will be ready for occupation next month. The Axioni delegation is waiting in the conference room, the aide reminded them. The Axioni representatives rose as Elena and Chen entered. Unlike their ancestors' rigid monochromatic forms, these younger Axioni displayed vibrant color patterns and asymmetrical crystal growths, signs of their cultural revolution after the neural sharing. Admiral Reyes, the lead delegate's harmonics resonated with respectful warmth. The Council has approved the joint expedition to the Andromeda Galaxy. Our finest stellar cartographers will serve alongside your navigation teams. Before Elena could respond, quantum alarms activated throughout the station. The central display showed massive energy signatures approaching from intergalactic space. Unknown vessels, configuration unlike anything in our databases, the tactical officer reported. They're on direct approach to Concordat space. A young Axioni communications specialist worked alongside a human technician, their movements perfectly synchronized. We're receiving a transmission. Language structure is complex, but translatable. Elena exchanged glances with Chen and the Axioni delegation. The threat that had traumatized the crystalline beings millennia ago. Could it be returning? Alert all Concordat worlds, she ordered calmly, but not for evacuation. For first contact protocols. Standing on the observation deck of the Odyssey, humanity's first intergalactic vessel, Elena watched representatives from every Concordat species preparing for their mission. Human tactical officers collaborated with Valerian strategists. Axioni engineers fine-tuned systems alongside Tav Ceti technicians. Species that once fought to annihilate each other now worked in perfect synchrony. A young Axioni approached her, its crystal structure gleaming with colors indicating profound respect. The archive said humans would destroy us with their anger, it said. They never mentioned you might save us with your forgiveness.